National parks are not only popular destinations for exploring and enjoying nature's beauty around us, but an economic engine for our communities. And here to talk about what's needed so we can continue enjoying all our national parks have to offer is Marcia Argust, Project Director for Restore America's Parks. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
Talk about the bill that's being voted on in Congress that will support our national parks.
So there's legislation that just passed the Senate and the House. It's headed to the White House for signing, we hope soon. It's the Great American Outdoors Act. And this would be the largest investment to repair our parks and public lands in a generation since the 1950s. It would direct up to $6 billion to address priority repairs in our national parks, and it's long overdue. And it will be of particular help to California, where there's over 30 national park units.
So we're talking about $12 billion in repairs that our national parks need. Is this going to have a positive impact in the state, around the country?
I think it's going to have a huge impact in the country. It's going to allow the Park Service over 5 years to tackle priority repairs and address at least half of this backlog. We're talking about large projects like wastewater systems, historic structures, eroding trails, crumbling roads. You know, people think about the Park Service, they think of beautiful vistas. They're not thinking about the facilities that visitors rely on, those roads, the 28,000 buildings that the Park Service is maintaining, the restrooms, the campgrounds, the ranger housing that's really deteriorating. So these things need to be maintained, and that maintenance costs money.
And as you were saying, people think about the beauty of our national parks and they enjoy them. The other thing the national parks do is they act as economic drivers to surrounding areas.
Absolutely. And that's another reason this bill is so important right now, because it's an investment that will have a high rate of return, especially in California, where you've got 40 million visitors coming to the state each year, and those visitors are spending $2.7 billion just in the local communities. That spending is supporting over 36,000 jobs each year. So we want to make sure the parks are in good condition so that we can continue to support those jobs. The legislation will also create additional jobs in construction and preservation jobs and masonry jobs. So again, this is really important right now.
Right, so that's really tied into just kind of the parks continuing to be prosperous places that we can continue to enjoy. You mentioned, California. Here we are so lucky. We have so much when it comes to natural beauty and the riches that just exist here in our state. How much do the Golden State's national parks need repairs and maintenance, and how much is that going to cost?
So in California alone, there are $2 billion worth of repair needs. So we'll know within about 3 months after enactment of this legislation what the repairs will be that the Park Service will take on this in its first fiscal year. I don't have a list right now. That list is not out there, but we'll see in a few months what repairs will happen in California.
Well, I think what's interesting is, because of the pandemic, more people are thinking about getting outdoors, and so they're turning to places like the national parks and thinking about them like, oh, this is a place we should go visit. Are you guys seeing increased interest right now when it comes to just national parks in general?
So, we don't have numbers yet to compare to last year, but certainly polls are showing that families in the U.S., they're not hopping on planes this summer. Mm-hmm. They're getting in their cars. One of their top destinations is national parks. So again, we want to make sure these places are in good operating order, they're safe, they're accessible, and that's important not just for visitor safety, but also for those local economies.
Right, and we can't talk about California, we can't talk about national parks without mentioning Yosemite, obviously a main attraction. They get visitors from all over the world all the time. What kind of repairs are needed at Yosemite?
So Yosemite has a backlog that's about $600 million. A lot of that is roads, some of it's trails, but it's also a wastewater system. It's got some leaking wastewater system. So, that's not sexy. But that needs to be addressed. Visitors who are coming in high numbers to a park like that, they need restrooms, and you certainly don't want a decades-old wastewater system to be leaching into the surrounding area. So those are just some of the repairs. At Yosemite, another issue there is ranger housing that needs to be addressed.
And anything else you want to add about this Great American Outdoors Act?
There's been tremendous support around the nation from local businesses, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, preservation groups, tribes. This is widely supported, and we've seen that support translate to just overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress. So, that's testament to how our public lands and our parks can be common ground for the nation.
Well, Marcia, we appreciate having you on the show this morning and the information that you shared with us. For more information on this, you can visit pewtrust.org.